Tingles with flyby. Hello, my tinglelings. Making a little kind of janky video. I'm in my laundry room right now. It's been a very hot day, and my recording room is upstairs, and it doesn't have any air conditioning in the room. And my love is up there, and if I want to record, I usually have to turn the air conditioning off, and I didn't want to bother him. Anyway, so I came down here to record some audio for some videos that I recorded video for earlier. Anyway, but I had received a comment from someone, and I thought, oh, it'd be a good... I wrote a really long answer to their question, so I thought I might talk about it in a video, because it is an interesting... Oh, sorry about that. It's gonna be real. I'm not gonna cut this at all, unless there's like really, really loud sounds. I don't want to ruin your, relaxation. But I'm not worried about my lighting or anything like that right here. So you get just what we got in the moment. Looking at my little painting there. Anyway, okay, on topic, Jenny. So, yeah, my tinkling was asking a question about, I'm atheist, that I grew up Mormon, and that I'm studying biology. And what they were asking about is that given that homosexuality... Oh, and they also knew I did my video on, comforting a gay friend coming out. And so they were just curious about what basically my perspective is on how homosexuality fits into the natural world. Because it basically is something that selects for not having your own offspring. And it's a really interesting question. And very relevant. The first thing that I like to mention, well, actually, this can be longer, because I made an answer on the video, not the video. Well, it was on the video. It was a comment though, and I'm gonna shield you. There's a airplane flying overhead, so I'm covering up the microphone so that hopefully it'll not be too loud for us, and we can just have a nice little cozy time in my little hand bubble. Anyway, now I forgot what I was saying. So it's interesting on a couple fronts, because lots of people assume that homosexuality is unique to humanity. It is not. Homosexual behavior is found in all primates and lots of other animals as well. You can find homosexual dogs. Lots of animals express homosexual behavior. So, whether understanding exactly why homosexual behavior persists is more difficult than understanding that it persists across lots of different arenas. I'm going to make a side caveat here as well and talk about gender and sex. So, first of all, gender and sex are two very, very separate things. This is the thing you need to understand to actually understand trans individuals. Also, I have so many notes about trans. Also, if you want to watch a really great channel about trans, actually there's a few. There's a Stephanie, I don't remember her name, but there's Uppercase Chase. Uppercase Chase is a trans man, so a female to male trans individual. So he was born female and has transitioned to male. That's what a trans man means. And you should always refer to somebody who is trans by their preferred pronouns. Well, everybody should refer to by their preferred pronouns. I'm not really the type of person who thinks that you should never assume pronouns. I think it's okay to assume pronouns in a lot of cases, but if you ever get corrected on pronouns, you should try your hardest to try and respect what people want to be called by. Anyway, because it makes a huge deal to them. Okay. Gender and sex. I mean, in our society, generally we recognize two genders, male and female. Biological sex is not so cut and dry, which is one of the big problems of actually having a binary system. For example, you have intersex individuals, people who have extra chromosomes, extra sex chromosomes, and so will be like an XXY. Well, it makes you a lot more female than a man, but it doesn't really make you fully female either, which is a lot of intersex conditions. In the sexual way. I mean, your own gender identity is going to be different. A lot of people will express themselves either as a man or a woman because they feel comfortable with that gender identity. But there are people who do not conform to any gender identity. Pigeon, that's another great YouTube channel. They, that's the pronoun that they prefer, is they. They is a hard one for me because it feels very depersonalizing. I have been writing a book which has a third gender, which is like an intersex gender, and in that one I use ni, neen, or nem. It makes it feel a little more like, okay, you're talking about an individual to me, but anyway, Pigeon's preferred pronouns are they, so they. But, anyway, so sexuality, so your biological sex is not really straightforward. If you have XX, XY, that's a little bit more straightforward in your biology, but there are lots of syndromes. You know, people can have particular disorders with hormones and whether their hormones actually express. So somebody can be genetically XY, but then have undescended testes, and so they look like a woman, basically, and they're, what's it called? And they might have testosterone suppressed within their system, and so they present just like women, but then they don't have, they don't go through estrus, don't have menstruation, and can't have children. But every other way, I mean, when you look at them, you would just think they're a woman. And they are women, if that's, you know, how they view themselves. So, gender is your mental conception of how you are and where you place yourself in society. It's a societal construct. Gender is completely from society. It's not actually, like, it is, kind of comes off of a biological basis, kind of, but it's not really. So, anyway, that's my little caveat on gender and sex. And please, I have a friend who's transitioning right now, and it's so hard, because imagine going through puberty again in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. That is what it's like for trans people who transition later in life. And, anyway, just please be nice to trans people. Please. Okay. There we go. Now on to homosexuality. As I said, you do find homosexuality in nature, first of all. The second point is a little bit of a deviation. Let's forget about homosexuality for a second. And a related question is, why do we have grandparents? Grandparents don't produce children. It's very expensive to keep people alive after reproduction age. They're not raising, their own children. So why do we have grandparents? Why in our biology is it that we have, like our species is spending so much energy on having grandparents be alive when that could be, put into more children? Well, the thinking is, that I've read about, is that there is a benefit to having a grandmother, is what they call it, but you would think grandmother and grandfather. But anyway, they call it, the ones that I've read is talking about having a grandmother. And that those people who have a grandmother, well, like those families who have a grandmother, are more likely to survive into the next generation and send their genetic code on. And, basically those are the alleles that are lasting, are the people who carry within themselves to survive longer, but part of that surviving longer is they survive longer and are able to help out with the next, the generation after their children, basically. And so that's a really interesting concept, because a lot of animals do not have grandparents. Like, most do not have grandparents that actually survive. Most that's generation before, that's dead and gone. It's usually just the parents and the children. And then when the children turn into the parents are gone. No grandchildren. They're just, it's just a phase of life. You don't have 3 generations all at once. But humans have grandparents. So that's an interesting thing. And I think it's related to homosexuality. Is what you have to understand about humanity is that we are a very collective species. Part of what makes us so successful is the ability to see commonality with other people. So to be able to have the concept of a nation, or even have the concept of humanity, that we think of our species being important, that just another person of our species is important just because they're a member of our species. That is very, very uncommon. Anyway, that's a little divergence. But so the thinking that I've heard, I haven't heard any research to back this up necessarily, but it's a nice theory, and something that I think as much as could be looked into, should be looked into, is basically that homosexuality, the first thing is, homosexuality happens at a high enough rate. 10% of the population is homosexual. So there is a benefit conveyed to all of humanity by homosexuality existing. You don't get things happening in those numbers that don't keep your survival. You look at really recessive diseases, and very common ones are 1 in 400, something like that. And there'll be more among families that have them, but there's nothing like 1 in 10. Anything 1 in 10 is going to be a benefit. So homosexuality, hands down, is a benefit to human society. That is not really a question at all. The question is, okay, what is the actual benefit? And that's where, postulation comes through. And that's why I brought up the grandmother theory. Because, that's another theory that I've heard about homosexuality, is that basically for families that have a gay sibling or, whatever in them that provides another caregiver for children, there are certain traits that do tend to go with homosexuality. Doesn't mean that they necessarily do, but yeah, men that tend to be more nurturing, women that tend to, have different, anyway, gender identities are a little bit not as strict with gay people. And so that can be a real benefit to kind of help the next generations. And so, the theory is basically that gay people are there to help their nieces and nephews survive better. That being the basic idea. But obviously this is like evolutionary history. That's not saying that, gay people today need to not be having children or anything like that, because a lot of times, it's because they have the most nurturing, so adopting or having children is a very good idea. But so, if you think of it that way, it's actually really, really ridiculous and stupid how we treat gay people, because they're really important to our survival and to us existing as species. So, love your gay friends, love your gay family members, love everyone. And, yeah, that's what I got to say. Just remember, key takeaway message: homosexuality based in biology. Homosexuality conveys a benefit on humanity, otherwise it wouldn't exist. Just because we don't understand why for sure, just because we don't know why, doesn't mean that we don't know that it causes a benefit. It would be gone if it didn't cause a benefit. So, instead of thinking everybody's going around messing things up, think about why people exist the way they do, and be happy they do, because they're making things better for us. Making it so you are more likely to exist, because some gay great aunt or great uncle helped you along the way. So, yes, those are the takeaways. And also, gender and sex are two separate things. Gender and biological sex, two separate things. And that is why trans exists. I know I end up talking a lot about trans. It's because I have particular interest in it. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos from trans people. Oh, there's another one. What's his name? I don't remember. Anyway, I'll try and put some links down in the description to some trans people's channels that I really liked watching, that really helped me learn about. It's a really good way to learn and ask questions, because if you meet somebody who's trans, they're not there to teach you what trans is all about. They're there to just live their lives and do whatever. So your curiosity should take you to Google and to YouTube, so that all your questions can be answered by strangers on the internet, and not burdening your trans friends with all the questions, because they will be getting them from everyone, and it's not their job. Not their job. So, anyway, my little caveat rant is over. And thanks for staying with me, if you're still here in my little janky video. And I'll see you next time with actual proper lighting. And my bum will hopefully be less sore by the end of my next video. Just sitting here on the floor. Maybe I should show you around. Okay, I'm just gonna take this off. Forget the sound. Turn. Oh yes, I did a good job. Okay, I gotta turn this around so I can see. Here's my game shelf. So bright. Oh, there we go. Some proper lighting. There's the painting. There's the painting I was talking about. It's one of my favorite paintings. And here I am, right on this floor, sitting on my rainbow quilt. But the rainbow quilt will get told to you later. Oh, and there we are, in the mirror. Anyway, okay, I think I am quite done. Water rating, 3 stars. Okay, I'm really done. Goodbye, my tinklings. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And remember that if you do comment down in the comments down below, that you do have a chance to be featured in my monthly viewers